is going on. Just clicking send on this email here. Today we are celebrating our 10K subscriber milestone here on YouTube, and it's totally crazy. I'm really happy about it. I'm really excited about it, and it's one of those things where early on I was really excited to strive for this milestone. When I started the channel, but it was one of those things where I didn't know if I would even come close to hitting it. Especially with YouTube, you just never know, like, if your channel is going to grow or if you're going to be able to reach the audience and the type of people that it is that you're truly trying to reach and help and interact with, people that are in this situation, for me, business owners that are trying to learn this thing called government contracting. I just didn't know how that was going to go for me on YouTube. So today we are kind of looking back. I'm saying thank you. And, we're going to also, I'll share my screen and we can look at, maybe some of the videos, from the past really 2 years, because I started the channel 3 years ago in 2018, but it wasn't until 2019 that I actually started to focus on growing the channel and being consistent. What I did was I put up a few kind of just test videos July 2018, and then I literally did nothing else for the entire year until the following summer of 2019. And then that's when I started to get more serious about YouTube. So it was 2019 to 2020, and then now 2020 to 21. So it's only been, guys, 2 years, but the channel has grown so much. A lot of things have changed. And I have learned quite a bit about, not only, YouTube and being a creator and things like that, but also you guys, where it is that you're standing, the challenges that you're facing in government contracting, what your aspirations are, and, learning how to be a better coach and a better person in a position to, of all the experience that I have and, the things that I've been exposed to in government contracting, how to best pull from those to serve you in the best way. What type of videos, the style of videos that I've created has changed to being more so focused on, maybe just like how to one thing, for example, just one main takeaway so that you can learn something from the video. And, probably the last 6 months, I would say one of the bigger things is, I'm really learning that you guys need support on proposal, on submitting, responding to bids, probably more than anything else. And I always knew that was a main thing for everybody, probably because responding to bids is not only probably the most complicated and difficult thing to do. Good morning, guys. Good morning. It's also one of the fewest things that small business owners that are new to government contracting have access to, seeing kind of examples of the way that things should or could look for them. Just something to like bounce ideas off and get some sort of bearings that really is not existing. That's something that, my competitors, if you will, hold tight to their chest. They're not sharing that information. So I've been trying to do more of that type of content here on the channel, because I know that's really, like the primary thing and the biggest problem that you all are facing. And I recognize that it's also responding to bids is the single biggest thing that can put you on the map, right? If you're just playing the numbers game, it kind of helps to get you established. If you're starting out, playing the numbers game can be, your win condition. We did a video, if you guys watched it, a few weeks back, we did a video on win condition, sharing and talking about what is just one thing you can focus on. What is the one thing that's going to be the game changer for you, right? And for most, especially those of you getting started out, that win condition can be putting numbers on the board, responding to RFPs, RFQs, solicitations from sam.gov, or doing city, state, local bids. We had Debbie a few weeks back rock a sole source no bid contract with the local city parks, right? Another great example of that. And so many others. So I'm recognizing that, and I'm looking forward to continue to provide more of that type of content to help more of you guys cross the finish line in your business or in your first government contract, or at the very least build the confidence that it's something that you can do, once you're ready. Shout out to Kenny Lewis, Manuel, Lala. Good morning, guys. Today we are celebrating our 10K milestone. Going to be sharing my screen, looking at some of the videos from the past. But this also, is our Saturday morning live that we've been doing. So it can also be a Q&A. If you're wanting to drop a question or whatever, we can still do that type of interaction as well. But let me know if you're here live in the chat. Good morning. And, we are celebrating. We're celebrating the channel. We're celebrating you guys. I know many of you have been with me for almost the entire 2 years that I've been active on YouTube. We have a number of folks in the GovCon Gold Rush program as well that have, been with me for almost the entire time. And, that's pretty cool, because when it comes to, YouTube subscribers and things like that, it's like, well, how much emphasis do you put on the actual subscriber count? Well, it depends. I like to imagine that it's actually a room full of people. So imagining a room full of 10,000 people, I mean, that is, that's a rock concert. That's, probably not quite the Super Bowl or anything like that, but that is a huge number of people. And just to put this in a context for you watching this, okay, that's how many people that are kind of attracted to doing the same things, maybe the same, the road salt video, maybe that brought you here, right? That's the number one thing that has attracted people. Well, look at how many other people are like-minded as you are, that are wanting to do the same thing, that are inspired by the same thing, or are wanting to do, something the same way that we're talking about on the channel, something that's, keeping you here or brought you here as a subscriber. Well, you're not the only one. You are surrounded by like-minded individuals. And, I think that's a powerful thing, and something that have been looking into for over a year, but recently looking to more invest in creating a space. And I did a poll recently here on the channel about, our Facebook group. Well, a lot of you probably know that, Facebook has made a lot of changes. Our Facebook group has over 3,000 members in it, but I can share a post, or somebody else can share a post, and Facebook is sharing that post with people in the group, less than 8%. That's the recent numbers that I've seen. Less than 8% are even seeing it if you're in the group. So that has really made it difficult, and created some new challenges, and automatically made me start rethinking what community means for me and what it can mean for you, somebody who's wanting to get help. And so I've been looking at another platform. And, I did a kind of like a guinea pig test yesterday with our GovCon Gold Rush members, and things went really well in there, And so what I would be considering doing is opening that whole thing up. GovCon Gold Rush members will have a private group within this new community, but then the rest of the community would be open for everybody else. And I also have the option and the ability to set the rest of that for free. So, because that was one of the things that I put in my recent YouTube and Facebook poll, free versus paid and things like that. And, I'm pretty happy to see that I do have an option within it to have one community where within the community, I can have as many groups as I want. So some of these groups can be paid and some of them can be free. That way there is a place for everybody. And then there's also options for everybody within that. And, that's definitely something that I'm quite serious about, and probably will pull the trigger on within the next couple weeks as I continue to get feedback. But so far it's looking really strong. And, for me, community is the transformation that you can bring, and the networking and the connections that can take place. And on the Facebook group, that's just not really possible because of the changes Facebook has made. It's also very difficult for that to happen within a YouTube context, because it's difficult for members to really interact with each other. It's difficult to see, for example, a member profile and what they're all about. Well, in this new community, you can literally, see, hey, this person's in IT. This is the type of group that they're in within, the GovCon community, and make the decision if you want to, engage with that person and take things offline or whatever. Like, you would have the ability to do that. And that's just not possible, with the current YouTube setup for community. And it's certainly not possible for the way that Facebook has changed things. So, that's something, if I end up pulling the trigger on, I will be doing it fairly soon. It's looking like, though, that I'm probably going to, and I'm so excited about that, to be able to bring you guys a community where you can actually interact with each other in a positive way, and you're not spammed with ads, and we don't have something like Facebook playing the hand of God, dictating what you see and what you do for their own benefit. It would be a platform where it's exactly what it should be, and I'm the only person that can control it, and there's no, people being referred to it that aren't even interested, things like that. It would just be people just like you coming from the YouTube channel. So that's a pretty exciting thing to me. And I can only explain it so much, so I'm probably not going to spend too much more talking about it right now. It's one of those things that I would have to show and demonstrate to you all when it's ready. But just talking about community and the way that things have grown so far, and where I'm kind of looking to take things to the next level for you guys. I want a unprecedented community. That's what I want. I want a community that's unlike anything else on this planet. Okay. And I want you guys to be part of it. And, I have big hopes and big aspirations of what's possible. I want you guys winning contracts. Okay. I am singularly focused. Good morning, Latanya. I'm singularly focused on getting you guys progress, getting you where you want to be. For many of you, it's winning a contract. For others, it's getting you to the next step, or making a decision, or just learning about this. We all have different starting points, right? And that's okay, because we're all headed in the same direction. So I want a community that is something that's so powerful that people talk about and know about. Okay. I'm not going to be advertising it, paying for ads, things like that. I want people to know, like, hey, if they're wanting to be serious, if they're wanting actual information and to engage with real people that are getting real results and wanting to do real things, not spam, not people coming in and soliciting their own services, not people undercutting other people, trying to just take things offline for their own personal reasons, but somebody who's there to actually contribute to the community, to give more than they take. I think that's something that does not exist online in the government contracting community, period. It doesn't, right? And that's why I would be able to open this up to free, and then also have groups where, if we want to have an investment level to be in a particular group within the community, that's fine, but you can still be part of the community without any paywall barriers, right? Because I don't want to keep people out who are serious. But we'll just have to have other ways to keep down on the spam and self-promotion and things that can ruin a community and ruin a group. Other ways besides a paywall being the filter. Maybe we can have some other ways. And that's something I'm committed to doing for you guys. And it's just, the how. And I think I found it. And, we'll see very soon here. That's what I'm super excited about. If you guys have questions, feel free to post those in the chat. We're celebrating today. Good morning, welcome. If you just joined, let me know that you're here in the chat. Today we're celebrating. It's something that is very surreal for me. I'm going to share my screen. I've got my YouTube channel pulled up, and I've just got this sorted by views, just for one example. But our road salt video is at 75,000 views. I mean, it's absolutely exploded. And it's been the single driving video that's grown the channel. And it was just 2 years ago. You can see 2 years ago. And it's brought a lot of people into the space that were curious about government contracting. And I think it's turned on a lot of people who didn't even know what government contracting was, or maybe they searched for something similar. But hearing about, my story and maybe the tenacity and the ability to go after that $90,000 contract has really resonated with you all of what's possible. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm blessed to be able to share, guys, I hope that I am as transparent as you get. I don't say that very often because I think my videos and my channel speak that for me. But everything on my channel it's just my story. And you wouldn't believe that I even still get comments. We all get trolls, we all get haters, and that's fine. I'm learning to pay them less and less attention, right? Because I care so much. I want to help everybody, and I'm learning that that's just not possible, even if somebody is misunderstanding. But it's just my story. I mean, take it or leave it. I'm a super creative person, but I'm not creative enough to make up the things on my channel. I mean, these are things that literally happened. The experiences I pull from are experiences that I lived through, and I don't talk about things that I haven't experienced, that I'm not 100% in. So if I have a video, it's because I've lived it. Okay. And if there's a topic that I haven't covered, there's a good chance because, well, it's just not my cup of tea. It's not something that I've lived. I get a lot of people reaching out to me about, Derek, what about international? I live in this other country. I want to do government contracts in this other country. I feel you, and I appreciate it. It's not something that I have experience in. It is not something that I can feel good about giving advice on. So I'm just not your guy. There's probably another guy or another girl out there who is an expert in that. And that should be your person. I would still love to be your person maybe for other things, but doing international stuff, it's just not my cup of tea. So I don't talk about things that I don't have experience in. The whole reason, good morning, Kizzy. Thanks for joining us this morning. The whole reason for this channel is because I believe that I went through a crazy time in my life, 5 years working for this government contractor, doing something I didn't even know what my job was my first year. And then I ended up doing something great. And I know it was something great because it was something that people that have been doing it for decades hadn't done, in terms of the number of contracts I won, the value, the different types, the different industries that I won in, all because I worked at this super unique government contractor that wouldn't say no to anything, and I was kind of, the front man for a lot of it. And it was super, super painful for me. And I told myself after I left the job, after I just couldn't handle it anymore, that at least I was going to put a positive spin on this out of all, the hell that I felt like I was going through for honestly the entire time. I don't say it a lot, but I started the job in August, I believe it was August 2014. And after a month, I hated it there so much that I had a sheet of paper and I created a countdown to the end of the year, because I was doing a goal setting type thing for myself, saying I'm going to leave this job by December 31st, 2014. And I carried it in my pocket. And every day I would just kind of do a tally, because I hated it. And I hated it because it was a hostile place to work. I didn't hate it because of the government contracting thing. I hadn't even been in it long enough to even really know what government contracting was. It was a very hostile work environment. We were an Indian-owned company. They kind of called it like the Indian mafia. So half the company was Indian, like actually Indian, from India. And, then there was, a few white people, a few black people, a few whatever, right? And it was just the way they operated was very, very like totalitarianism, and just like, it's like a dictatorship. And, the boss works till 10, you work till 10. We don't care if you start at 8 or 8:30. And yeah, by the way, your salary, it's just backwards, right? And I know I'm not the only one who experiences that. And there was other things that happened, but all that to say, I had this countdown sheet till the time I was going to leave that job. And honestly, like 5 years later, like, it took that long. And a lot of that was because I was in a tough spot financially at the time, over 50K in debt, living at my parents' house, driving down a broken down Pontiac Sunfire with the gas cap rusted off and a trunk that wouldn't close, driving over an hour to work in Michigan, in winter, going through the snow and things like that, living on a dirt road, just not even knowing physically how I would make it to work some days. And honestly, just believing, that my life was meant for more than that. I had an MBA, international business, bachelor's degree in finance. I had did all the things, quote unquote, I was supposed to do. And my life just had not shaped out to the way that I was wanting it to be. And I was at the age of 24, 25 at the time. And I was at the lowest point in my life before I took that job, this government contracting job. I was hospitalized, and I really never talk about this, but I owned a pizza restaurant, guys. I owned a pizza restaurant. I took my life savings when I was 23-ish. I opened a pizza restaurant. I did it. My mom was a real estate agent. So we found a turnkey place for $1,000 a month. You get the building, you get the pots and the pans. I worked with Paycor, payroll company, hired employees. Like I did the thing. I did the damn thing. I did all of it, right? Put all my money into it. It was, tens of thousands of dollars. It wasn't a lot, but it was in the tens of thousands of cash I had saved just my whole life, poured it into there. Of course I lost it all, like it's just a pizza restaurant in the country, just, not a good recipe, right? Not a good recipe. Very small parking. I learned a lot of things of what not to do in business. And so, that ended. And it was like, I started to get super depressed about my life at that time. And it didn't end there, because then I took a job selling insurance for State Farm. And I didn't make it there long. It was a very weird situation. I don't want to get into it, but it was, like the office it was all African-American. It was an all black office. And I was like the only white guy. And they just put me in a room by myself, literally physically put me in a room all the way down the office. And it was like, oh, we're growing and we're expanding, except I was the only one there. And it was that way for a while. And I just, I won't get into maybe some of the things that I felt, because I don't know how much of it was true. But it was a very uncomfortable place for me to work. And I got licensed to sell insurance for that. And like after just coming off of this failure of the pizza restaurant, then I was there. And then I started getting really bad, because I knew I was not going to last, and I was not going to make it there. And I didn't end up making it there. I ended up having, I was still living in my parents' house at the time, just trying to make ends meet and all that stuff. My parents were visiting my brother in California or something. So I had the house for like a week or whatever. And just one night, I ended up having like a total freak out, which, I thought I was having a stroke and I never talk about this, but somebody's saying no audio. I think there's audio. People, please correct me. Everybody else seems to be doing fine. So please, Deshonda, please check your audio. I think we're fine on audio. But so anyways, that night, I thought I was having a stroke. It was like 1 o'clock at night. I was super, saying good. Okay, cool. I was just super anxious, knowing this job wasn't going to work either. I'm still reeling from this business that had failed previously. Still a fresh wound in me. And, like, I don't know what happened, but like, I kind of felt my face went numb, and then like my arm went numb, and it stayed numb. I felt like I was talking kind of strange. And, that's kind of as much as I can remember, but, about how I was feeling at the time. So I thought I was having a stroke, and I called 911, and then I called my parents, and I said, something's happening. I called 911. Of course, I worried the hell out of my mother, which I regret doing. And ambulance came, And I was in and out of, I don't want to say consciousness, but my awareness was in and out. I wasn't very aware of what was happening. But all I remember, and this is how sad it was. All I remember was the one thing I kept repeating is I don't have insurance because I just turned 25. I'm a summer birthday, I just turned 25, and my Cobra, for those of you who know what Cobra is, you can stay on your parents' insurance up until the age of 25. And then after that, you get kicked off. And my birthday had just passed, like the same month. So I just gotten, and I'm like, this is the last thing I need. I've got all this debt, business just failed, cars breaking down, living at parents, blah, 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 the story. And now I'm being taken to the hospital because I feel like I have to, because I don't know if I'm having a stroke or what. And all I'm saying is like I'm not on my parents' insurance, just don't do a lot of tests, like just do the bare minimum. Like how sad is that? How sad is that? My health was like the last of the list because I was so worried about the financial portion of it. And long story long, right? They took me in, they kind of like kicked me out at 4 or 5 a.m. My buddy had to come pick me up because I couldn't drive. They told me I had a severe like panic attack or like a severe anxiety attack. And so I've learned a lot more about, myself since then, being aware, trying to take care of my mental health. But they did the whole workup. They said everything's fine, and then 2 weeks later, they sent me a bill in the mail for like somewhere between, it was like 3,500 to 5K, from that one night in the hospital because I didn't have insurance. And that was just also devastating to start getting these bills in the mail from the hospital. And I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But it was the lowest point. It was the lowest point in my life. And all of that built up, all of that happened before I took the job working for the government contractor. So I was already like, all right, me and life, we're just not working out, like just thinking stupid thoughts and being super depressed. And, when you have an expectation for yourself, guys, I think you watching this right now and everybody watching this, I think you can appreciate if you have an expectation level that's here and your reality is like down here, it's very painful. Like it's very, very painful, whether it's anything, your health, your relationship, your business, your money, whatever, right? For me, it was like everything. And I have high expectations. I set high expectations to myself, sometimes maybe too high. And so I was in just a huge amount of pain because this is not how my life was supposed to go, right? So then, I ended up applying off of like a job board from my university for this proposal writer for something to do with the government, blah, blah, blah. I ended up, taking that job. And things did not get off to a good start there. I thought it seemed that it was just going to be more of the same, what I had been going through basically the last 2 years. Because the first month, my boss wanted to fire me. She wanted me fired. And unfortunately, it was because she wanted to use me as a scapegoat because we were going after a big GWAC, government-wide acquisition contract called, it was the original Oasis contract. Anybody who knows, I forget what the acronym stands for. It's administrative. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to remember it. But Oasis was an acronym for this large contract that we, turns out, did not have proper past performance to go after. And so I was kind of telling her, like, yeah, I'm reading this and it doesn't seem like we qualify to go after this. And she was just so committed to going after it, right? And she ended up getting feedback from other people saying the same thing that I told her. But before that happened, she wanted to fire me because that's just how she was. And I told you this is a very hostile workplace to work at. And this is how they treated people. But probably as a blessing, God probably used the recruiter that recruited me to basically keep me there. So he shielded me from her and said, let me take Derek. I'll teach Derek recruiting. I'll teach Derek sales and marketing. You know, we won't have him do the proposal type stuff, because she thought I had an issue with proposals. You know, side note, I did proposals for a 501c3 nonprofit, doing grant writing and things like that in college. And that's kind of how I got the job. That was my experience that got me the job, in addition to my degree. But, you know, this guy, he protected me. And so if it wasn't for him, you know, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have created these videos. And, you know, he was the one who brought me in. And I think he was supposed to be some sort of guiding light. He was very much like a uncle type figure to me. And coincidentally, it was like the same time that I was leaving the company, he actually passed away of cancer. So, you know, it's like he brought me in, and then we left at the same time as well. And I very much saw him as like a guide and like a mentor type figure. And it was just, and seeing him kind of decline and go through that was just horrible. I've never seen somebody pass of cancer from start to finish. And it was just something that you never want to see. So there was a lot of serendipitous moments that happened throughout the time being there. Looking back, I firmly believe that I was supposed to go through that. That was meant to be my journey. It was the hardest thing I've went through in my life so far. And I've probably also never been more grateful for something. And I wanted to quit for almost the entire 5 years that I was there. And I'm also so grateful that I was not allowed to quit, because I went on a number of interviews. I took days off to go interview, and I interview very well. I have a great resume. You know, I always get the job. And all these times that I tried to leave that place, I did not get the job. I was forced to be in this position. And so looking back, and, you know, today we're celebrating 10K, right? So if you just joined us, you know, welcome. Let me know that you're here in the chat. We're just kind of reminiscing a bit right now. I wouldn't be able to give to you guys and contribute what I am grateful to be able to do if I was able to get pulled out of that hard situation when I wanted to. So it was kind of like feeling like, you know, God's not listening, like, or whatever, you know. I'm not getting religious with you, but whatever it is for you, you know, at the end of the day, I do still believe you have to, you know, save yourself, and, you know, God helps those who help themselves. Like you have to take action. And I was interviewing, and I was also working on myself to figure out what else can I do within the company so that I don't have to leave, because it was very difficult for me to leave. And it just didn't seem to be happening. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is a mirror. Like I'm going through a hard time, and what I'm wanting, I'm not getting, and I'm trying, and I'm putting a lot of effort, and that's not working either. So let's try a different approach. So I kind of looked at it, you know, as a mirror, like, well, what do I have to do internally? Okay, let's do the last thing anybody wants to do, which is work on themselves, really. And I started, you know, looking at how can I re-engage myself in this company, in this government contracting business that I've won so much work for, that I've got us into, you know, so many different verticals. And then others also, you know, got us into other verticals too. And so I started, you know, and that was like my last couple of years working there, trying these different things. You know, I started teaching others, you know, and I think some of that prepared me for what I'm doing now. You know, my boss kind of, you know, allowed me to teach others in the company that maybe weren't on the business development side of things, to show them how to do some of the things that I've done, to pass on the knowledge. And so I created these presentations and all these things. And that's, I guess, really where I started to sharpen my teeth and start to approach this from a bit of a sharing and a coaching capacity, like I do now on the channel. You know, I started to do that there first, you know, and it worked, right? Like it worked. we had interns come in from college, we had other people, and they all won at least one contract. Like the people that I worked with directly, they won at least one contract. That's something that I remember, because it gave me the confidence of like, well, I'm doing it. They've learned how to do it. Why are all these small business owners that I'm running into when I'm going to these conferences and stuff, why am I seeing them year after year after year, and we're still having the same conversation? Why are they still telling me that they're trying to win their first contract and I'm talking about my last win? Like why is that? And by the way, like they're far more credentialed than I am. They're PhDs. They're business owners with the skills that, and I'm just some kid at the time. Like why is this happening? And I became super curious and super interested in like what was I doing? It wasn't like a boasting type thing or anything, but I was just super curious as to the fundamental things. Like what was it literally that I was doing, and then these other people that I was teaching at the company, like what were we doing, and then these others from the other companies that were not, they were having the same story every year. What were they not doing? Right. And so that's wasn't my plan, but ended up becoming the jumping off point for the reason for this YouTube channel, believing that some of those people would find me, and people that I didn't know would find me here through this channel, because, I'm not going to keep flying around to all these conferences and rubbing elbows with the same people. So hoping that they would come and find me, and then, we would be able to be in a capacity to share, what's worked, and not just for me, but other people too, and what works within the community, with other people that are wanting that information. That became the mission, the intent, and the jumping off point for this channel. And like I said, I put a few videos up in 2018. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was focused on a lot of other things. And I didn't come back to get serious until a year later, 2019, putting us just past the 2-year mark of being active and growing this channel today. Kenny says, all these trials make us stronger. Absolutely. Absolutely. Julie says, wow, pain and success. Thanks to God, you didn't give up on life or yourself. I'm in Michigan. Take care. Yeah. Shout out to Michigan peeps, born and raised. And Yvonne says, I'm from Houston. I'm new to the channel. Yvonne, welcome. Welcome to the channel. And it's awesome that you are catching us today as we're doing our 10K celebration. We've got a lot of new folks, and I'm super excited to have you all, but I'm super excited to where we're continuing to head in the future. Yeah, so that's a bit more of my story than I usually share. But I'm also sharing it not just so you get to know me a bit better, but in case any of you can relate to that level of pain. Maybe some of you are going through it right now. Maybe you're in a situation where you feel that's stuck or that's never going to change, and that you aren't just sitting on your hands waiting for somebody to come and save you, that you are working on saving yourself. But it's not happening, right? That's exactly how I felt. And I know a lot of folks are coming to government contracting, maybe because they feel that way also. They're tired of building somebody else's dream, working for a company, like I was. And I don't know what it is. I know a lot of it for you, a lot of people in GovCon Gold Rush, for them, it's legacy. They're like, I want to build something that I have for my family, for my kids. So I know there's a number of whys and motivation and reasons that bring you all here. And you all probably have a lot more in common than you realize. I have that as well. I have the need for legacy. I have the need for, I call it the rocking chair test, where it's like the day is going to come, hopefully later than sooner, where, where I'm looking back and, how did I use my time? And I don't want to have regrets, man. And I think maybe we all are going to have some, but it's like, I want to play full out. And to me, that means how many people can you impact? How many, I don't want to say lives you can change, because I'm not so conceited to think that I'm actually changing lives here. But, how many people can you impact? How many maybe problems can you help people with, even in a small way? Or maybe just how much inspiration or motivation can you share through sharing your story? Because those things do make a difference, and if you have the choice to share your voice or just to keep it inside because you think nobody cares, there's probably a lot of people that are missing out, right? So that's what keeps me going. And I'm even more, I always say it, I feel like I'm just getting started. I always feel like I'm just getting started because there's so much that I want to do. And I hope those of you that have been around for a while, I hope that you can back me up on this. And I hope that you can say that it's the truth, that our community, our channel, and the things that have been accomplished over the last 2 years, I hope you can back me up in saying that things have only continued to progress and grow and hopefully get better. Because at the end of the day, that's what we all strive for. This is my full-time gig. This is what I do every single day. I don't have a side job. I don't run a government contracting business myself. That's actually something I want to talk about for a second. I've had a few trolls say, are you doing, like, are you running a government contracting business? Like, are you actively bidding? No, I'm not. Like, I'm not. I'm actively coaching. Okay. But a coach could still be bidding. So I respect the question. My answer is, and it's basically what I teach everybody, is you should have a business first and then do government contracting second. That's why in sam.gov, you have to register a business before you even become eligible to do a contract. Like, there's a reason for that. It's very simple, but a lot of people, get it twisted for some reason. I don't have that business. I'm not a construction person. I'm not an IT person. I don't have a business doing these skills. So how would I take that business and then register it? Okay. It's just the people who say that, they're just caught in this context of like, oh, just propping up a GovCon business and bidding on contracts. But that's not what I teach. So who would I be if that's what I did? Now, I did a video about a month ago saying what I would do if I started over. I could do that. And that video says that I would do like professional services and staffing, because that does not require a technical set of skills. That does not require you to be more of an SME in your business, in your area. I would say it does in some accounts, but those are skills that I do have because I learned recruiting, I learned management, I learned a number of things. So that is the type of business that I could do, but it's not what I want to do. And if you don't believe me on that, or you want to think suspect of me, I mean, I can't help you. I can't. I'm just telling you how it is. That's why I'm not actively bidding contracts. It's because if I wanted to make money bidding contracts, I was already making the six figures. I was making a lot of money, and I didn't have the liability of all having the business. I didn't have a business. Remember, I came off of this really, really low point. I came off of a failed business, right? Pizza restaurant. Not that I'm going to try to sell pizza to the government, but that's what I came from, and it's just how my story went. When I left my job, July 9th, 2018, I did not leave with a plan. I did not leave knowing what I was going to do. I didn't know if I was going to get another job. I know I didn't want to. Um, I had kind of thought about maybe being a consultant, but I didn't know what that really looked like. I thought it looked like having a brick and mortar building and seeing clients in person. Like I said, it took me about a year after leaving my job to even come into utilizing the online space to reach people, and then growing into creating resources and tools that can actually help people, and courses, right, that can actually help people. That's something that I grew into. I didn't know all that. I tried a whole bunch of stuff to get to that point, and then that's kind of what I ended up doing. um sure, I could have went out and started a business doing government contracting, but like I say, it's business first. And I recommend putting in a year or two of business before transferring that over to government contracting. It's just my prescription. It's what I recommend. Can you do it in less time? Yes, absolutely. May you have more challenges? Yes, you may. It's up to you if you're going to be able to overcome those challenges. For most probably won't. They're going to run into pricing issues. They're going to run into past performance issues. You may just spend all your time bidding these small little contracts that don't require this. And then when the busy time of the year ends, you don't have anything to go after. Then you're, left with all this overhead or extra employees or, whatever. And then you got to trim the fat. It's not a good business model. Slow and steady is the better way, right? Well, I didn't have that time to do that, so I had to try to create something. And for me to start helping other people, other business owners who were already ready to do this, was a more immediate way for me to start earning cash, start paying my bills, and then it's grown from there, So could I one day? Absolutely. Have I thought about, my girlfriend's from Laos, from the Thailand area. Having her do a GovCon business, play the 8A game, play the woman-owned small business game. Have I thought about that? Absolutely. Of course I've thought about that. But at the end of the day, I'm talking about the whole rocking chair thing still. At the end of the day, what is it that's just going to mean the most to me? And so it becomes a decision. It's not that I can't do it. Of course I can do it. I mean, I don't think most of you question that. But what's going to mean the most to me is what I can help the most with. Okay. What I can help the most with, the one string that I have to play on, I feel, like some of this stuff, guys, you just got to go deep within yourself, and it may take time. Like I said, I believe I was meant to go through that experience, those 5 years of hell, so that I have something to share with other people. If I was just doing GovCon or whatever myself, like, who am I helping? Like, I'm just making more money for myself. And like I said, my attitude towards that is, how many places I could go and make six figures and do this? It's just not to the point of being fulfilling anymore. I kind of felt like I've done it. So, and I've proven to myself time and time and time again that I can do it. So I don't need to keep doing that. I could, if I want, I can help other people do it too. But it's like, I want to share what I went through, and I want to share those lessons, and I want to share what's worked, so that other people can use government contracting to also meet their why. Like we talk about legacy or wealth, or just not building somebody else's dream, building your own. So your own fulfillment, that's the capacity that I feel that I'm able to contribute to in the most. And that's why I'm not going away anytime soon if I have anything to say about it. And that's why I feel like I'm just getting started. That's why we're celebrating 10K subscribers today. If you're just joining, hello, good morning. Let me know that you're here in the chat. That's why it's you guys that mean everything to me, because without you, I'm not helping. And if I'm not helping, and if I ever feel like I'm no longer able to help, then I will stop doing this and I'll move on to something else. But I don't think that'll happen for a long, long time, hopefully. So yeah, hopefully and I'm just sharing this stuff in case you guys, you're getting to know me a little bit deeper, but in case any of you guys are going through a period of your life, a season of your life where there is a challenge that you can't get out of, trying to kind of show you a silver lining. I'm super grateful that I went through what I went through so that we can do this, so that we can be here today. I got something. I can even show you something. So yesterday we went live like we do every week during office hours in GovCon Gold Rush. We touch on all the members, see what they're working on. They got questions, go through bids, all that type of stuff. And there was somebody that I had kind of an offline conversation with earlier in the week, and he was dealing with some issues, and I helped him out. And he was trying to win this contract, and it seemed like it was going to be coming towards him, but there was some weird wording, some weird stuff going on. I won't get into it, but like we had an offline conversation. I tried to set him straight. Luckily, he also does a lot of his own research. So, I mean, really, he gets all the credit. But, we kind of got him straightened out, give him the confidence to proceed. And he ended up winning his contract. It was a second contract off of the first contract he had already won. But now he's in the program. And so, I'm able to engage with him and talk to him more. And so after the office hours yesterday, I go home for lunch. My office is only 5 minutes away from my house. So, this door behind me, so I go outside the door, and then there's this package. There's this yellow package sitting on the ground. And I'm like, I've never gotten a package before. And it's this pink box that says Georgetown cupcakes on it, and I'm like somebody sent me cupcakes, it seems like, and so I took them home. I opened them up, and that's what this ended up being. Some really awesome cupcakes, by the way. And then there was also a card in it. And so it said, Derek, thanks for all your help the other day with my FAR questions. Very much appreciated. You're making such a difference in many people's lives with your work. I hope you enjoy these. They are a favorite of mine. Have a great weekend. And for me, this says it all, a box of cupcakes says it all to me, because what do you actually have to go through as a person to do that for another person that you've never even met, and for me, that was, I had a lot of emotions about it, and they were all positive, but it was it was like an affirmation to me of we're on the right track, we are making an impact, at various levels, right? And maybe bigger impacts in the GovCon Gold Rush group, because that's what the group is dedicated towards. But even the free stuff on the channel and all that, it was a bit of an affirmation to me, and that's why it was so meaningful. Was that it's okay, maybe we are making an impact. And it may sound silly for me to say that, because some of you may say, Derek, of course you're making an impact. You just hit 10,000 subscribers. Look at this, look at that. It's huge, but at the end of the day, it's just that's what I live for. And I constantly question myself if I'm doing enough, if I'm doing the right things, because like I said, my expectations are up here for myself. And it was really, really nice to get something like that, because that's, it's not money, right? It's not monetary, although, financial support and all that thing, it's, that's also very, very appreciated, and very much a thing keeping my, this coaching business going, allowing me to do this stuff. Of course, revenue for a business is number one, but this other thing was really awesome. And I told myself, I'm I got to bring this on. I got to bring this on the live session and share it with everybody, just because we are impacting people. People's lives are again, I'm not going to say being changed, but we are making an impact on people's lives. And, it's just really nice sometimes to see that. For me, this allowed me to see it because I try to be pretty humble, and I don't let a lot of compliments in and things like that, because I just want to keep going and doing more and more and more. And I'm realizing, like, it's kind of hard to live that way. Eventually you're going to, like, burn out. But, I think this is, maybe a bit symbolic of what it is that I'm trying to do more of. Like, I want there to be that goodwill with you guys, and I want you to know my intent and my mission, and just know that I'm constantly trying to figure out the best way to put that, whether it's here on the channel or in courses or online resources or whatever. I'm trying to put that intent in a way that's something that's actually useful and valuable to you. I mean, that's why I created Goal Rush. That's why I have the CAPE statements. I got proposal builder docs. They're not on the website yet, but they're coming out very soon. Pre-templated, formatted stuff you guys can actually use to put responses together with, so you don't have to write the whole damn thing. A lot of thought and a lot of energy and a lot of stuff goes into creating things that I think are actually going to be helpful and useful to you. But just know, like, it all kind of comes, like, from this place. It's why I do it. This is why I'm doing it. I want there to be more of the intangible. I want there to be more of the community. I want there to be more of the connection. Those are all things that I will continue to work towards as long as I'm here on the channel. So it's like, we touched about it earlier. I know a lot of you guys are just kind of joining. But we have a new community that we're looking at going off the grid with, if you will, off the Facebook page. Nothing's changing with YouTube. Everything is going to stay here with YouTube. All fine. Email, the email list, everything will stay exactly the same. But it would be Facebook group that would be changing to an off the grid community where we all would get to interact in a much better way. And I'm very much looking forward to hopefully something like that happening, very soon here. I'm just doing some more testing. But, being able to connect with you guys more than what we can do, even just on a live this morning, we've got some, we got a lot of chat, a lot of engagement and interaction from you guys. But I mean, wouldn't it be great if we could get one step closer? Because that's what I want. I want to, like, take it one level closer, because that's why I'm doing this. Like, I'm doing this to help. I do have to monetize things. Like I said earlier, though, I'm finding a way where within this new community, some of it can be paid, and also a portion of it can be free as well, so that it doesn't turn anybody away or hide anything behind a paywall. But, it's like the end goal, the end result is to get you guys where you want to be. And maybe GovCon isn't for you, but if that's the case, I want you to know that as quickly as possible. I don't want you to waste time. Or maybe you realize, that just right now is not the time for you, and that GovCon is the thing for your business, but maybe like not right now, maybe next year or something. I want whatever the next step needs to be for you. I want to help to get you there. It's just a matter of facilitating the best ways to do it, and learning technology and using technology, because this is a technology-based thing we have going here. So I'm super excited at, continuing to try to crack that nut and get closer to what my end intent, my end mission is. My goal is that it's never gonna end, but I'm only going to continue to try to keep getting closer and closer to that with you and for you. Yeah. So we are just hanging out, guys. We are just hanging out. I think I will pause for a bit on the personal stuff. Maybe I'll take a break now and we'll go to my screen. If you guys have questions, let me check the chat here. And then we'll switch gears here a little bit. Robin says, thank you for sharing your knowledge and wishing you even more success. Thank you so much. I don't know if it's Robin or Rabin, but thank you. Thank you so much. Yvonne says, you're an outstanding human being. Good karma will always be on your side. Hey, thank you so much, Yvonne. I appreciate it. I think we're all trying to throw as much good stuff out there into the universe as possible. I certainly am. Lala, my girlfriend, says you're so awesome. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad you shared your story today. Guys, Lala's my girlfriend, but we've been together for almost 4 years now. We've built a life together, and I love her very much, and she's been my rock. We were together that final year. The final year when I left the government contractor, was when we met, and I kind of believe that, there was a reason for that as well, because it was, it's basically during a kind of like an intense night where I was stressed out about work and what I was going to do, in a conversation with her that I finally was able to see what I was supposed to do and finally leave the job. But it was through that conversation, with her. And ever since then, after taking the jump, excuse me, after taking the jump, leaving that job, it's been so many ups and downs, but she's been pretty much the most steady rock in my life. So without her, I also would not, be here in this capacity doing this, because I probably maybe would have given up or quit, because it was really, really hard to get to this point. So, I mean, she gets all the credit, guys. Like she gets the credit for, they say behind every one person is a strong whatever person, right? Behind every great man is a great woman. I'm not saying I'm a great man, but a lot of the good stuff that I have to bring has to do with her and allowing me to bounce a million things off of her and have hour-long conversations, sometimes every single day, trying to figure stuff out. Just having your person, having that person there for you. I couldn't have asked for anybody better than that. So, I love her, and I'm just super, super grateful. Like I said, I believe that she was to be in my life for that reason. Because if I didn't have a person like that, when all that stuff hit the fan, I don't know what I would have ended up doing. So Aisha says, you're such a thoughtful person. I've learned so much from your free content. It really is invaluable. Aisha, thank you so much. I'm so glad that it's helped you. I appreciate the compliment. And nothing means more to me to know that something I've done has helped you. That's all that I want. Hi, have you done government contracting? I'm new here. Yep, I've definitely done government contracting. Done it for probably about 8 years now. I've been in the field, so I definitely recommend checking out some of the videos. Probably get you up to speed on everything that we're talking about here today. But thanks for joining the stream, Latasha. Latanya says, "Oh, that's so nice. Yes, you've been very helpful. Thank you so much, Latanya. I appreciate it. And also, welcome back. I recognize you from hanging out with us last week. So glad to have you back." Yvonne says, "I can't wait to dig into your content. The government go-to person left our company. Government contracts are going to be on me now." So yeah, you know what, Yvonne, I don't hear that a lot, but I have heard that some of the times. Multiple situations where maybe like, hey, my boss wants to get into government contracting. They put the folder on my desk to figure this thing out. Or, hey, the go-to person, kind of like what you're saying, has left. Now this is being put on me. I don't know that much about it, maybe. And now I'm Googling, I'm doing research to kind of try and figure this thing out. That's kind of why I created GovCon Gold Rush. Honestly, Yvonne, if you're looking, if there's already a business that's looking to take things to the next level, I would recommend you check out the free videos. But then if your boss or you or whoever is looking to kind of make things happen a lot faster, I would, just recommend at least checking out GoRush on the website, GovKidMethod.com. But that it's an investment. So whether or not you guys are able to make an investment, that's cool. But if nothing else, like the channel, the community, we're here from you. And I'm sure a lot of people can tell you that, there's been a lot of good stuff created in terms of resources, and many of the different aspects that you would need help with already on here that's available free. So, yeah. And I, you know what, honestly, I like hearing that. I like hearing from people who are in the BD space. Like, hey, I'm responsible for this, because those are the people that I feel I can help the most, because that's exactly what my job was. So I can really, really resonate with that. So I really hope that you check out the videos, Yvonne. But feel free to reach out to me if you want to inquire about the program or anything like that. I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you. Anybody who joins GoRush, guys, it's I'm not doing a plug here, but I'm just letting you know, it's where all of the best content and the best resources I have. So I'm just letting you know, if you're looking for more and you're not in Gold Rush, it's there. If you can't afford the investment right now, that's fine, but just know that it is there. And then also, it's an application process. So there is no buy button. Unlike, my quote unquote competitors or whatever, you can't just get in and self-enroll, because you have to apply. I have to review your application. Then I take my time. I check out your business. I check you out in sam.gov. I check out your website. I check out your answers. And then if everything, sounds like it's aligned, then we get on a phone call. Okay. All before any investments made, because I want to check you out and I want to give you an opportunity further to check me out. That's not something that my other competitors do. It's like literally you can click buy now, you can spend a lot of money, and then you're just in some course. Okay. It's not how this works, And I do say not right now to some people who apply, because I don't think they're ready yet. So everybody in the program who's in there is handpicked, and we opened enrollment at the end of March, beginning of April this year. So it's, kind of been like half a year or less. We currently have 25 to 30 businesses participating, all from different industries, all from different fields. We've got people, getting some wins, but we've got some people that are on the other end of the spectrum where they're just learning and they're very new. And that's all awesome, but they all have businesses already. They all have businesses. They all know how to price. They all know their craft, and they're just looking to understand the government contracting side of it. So that's why I'm saying, like, that's kind of like the perfect thing for somebody who's in that situation, that's wanting to get up to speed quickly, that's, able to make an investment. And then in addition to that, we also are we do office hours every single week. So it's kind of like, a round robin. Everybody, we changed things a bit up yesterday as we're testing the new community site. But yesterday, we're all on camera. We're all talking to each other. They're talking amongst each other, interacting in the, side chat as well. But through Zoom, you can really, go live and in person. And then seeing what everybody has going on, seeing what they have questions with. We had somebody that requested a bid review, so I went through a bid for somebody during yesterday's office hours. We spent probably 20, 25 minutes answering questions. And that's every single week. And it's just there to take advantage of. So if you're wanting that type of, Latasha, you're asking the question here about mentoring. I mean, there's multiple definitions to mentoring, but it's like, well, if getting on a camera with me once a week for 1 or 2 hours is mentoring, then I would say yes, and I would argue that you probably don't need more than that. You probably shouldn't need more than that, because you need the rest of the time to implement and go and do the things that we talk about, right? So anyways, I'm honestly not doing a plug here for the program, but I'm just letting you know that it is there if you're looking for more. If not, that's why I've got the free courses. I've got low-priced GovCon tools on the website. We got a bunch of great stuff here on the channel, so different strokes for different folks. Everybody's in different places. It's all about kind of saving time. You pay money to solve problems to save time. That's what the wealthy people do. That's what everybody does. So the more investment you make, the more time you get to save. So it's just kind of, what is it that you or your business is wanting to do? And it's all good. That's why we have a number of different offerings. And like I said, coming out very soon is the proposal builder docs. It's going to be the latest addition to the GovCon tools that we have. And it's very much like, it's a template like a capability statement, but GovCon proposal builder docs it's actually 10 templates. So instead of 1, you get 10. And it's, staffing plan, management plan, quality control plan, past performance tables, pricing tables, PWS matrices, formatted resumes, like so many things that are already pre-created that just have highlights where you need to change and customize, so that if proposal writing is a problem for you, which most of you, it is the number one thing, then you can plug and play. It's literally meant to be proposal builder docs. Build your government contract responses with these documents, because just trying to recreate these from scratch, especially if you don't even know what they're supposed to look like or what is supposed to be in there, it's going to take you a long time. It's going to be a lot of proposal debriefs of beefing up your documents. Why not just start there? So that's going to be coming out within the next couple of weeks here on the website. And I'm super excited about that. There'll just be another option to help you guys. A lot of thought went in development, and honestly, money went in to getting those created. Yvonne is asking, do you have a video about FAR clauses? This is the part that makes me nervous. Government solicitations include a section with a lot of clauses. What are we supposed to do with that? Really good question. So the FAR is the Federal Acquisition Regulation. It is the Bible that contracting officers abide by. And so they insert these FAR clauses into our contracts as contractors. So we also need to know and understand them. So I'll be upfront by saying there's probably a few number of FAR clauses that you should probably know off the top of your head. And then the rest of them, it's good to know that they're there for reference. We do have some videos about specific FAR clauses, like the big ones, like limitations on subcontracting. There's other FAR clauses like, made in the USA that are important. Also, like covered telecom, not using certain Chinese companies. That's a big one that's kind of newer the last couple of years. These are certain FAR clauses that small businesses need to be concerned with, make sure they're abiding by. But what you can do is quite honestly, to answer your question, Yvonne, specifically, what are we supposed to do with that? You're supposed to abide by it. That's all you're supposed to do. So from a proposal standpoint, there's nothing you're supposed to do. Like it's like terms and conditions. So by you submitting, you are hereby acknowledging that you're going to perform in accordance with these because they're in there. So there's nothing that you actually do with them. But what you can do is, if you don't know what any of them are, or you want to know more, read them, because it'll be a FAR number and then it'll be like a title. Some of them are very intuitive, like, ban text and driving, which means you're supposed to encourage your employees to not text and drive. Okay, there's a FAR clause for that. What do you have to do with that? Like in terms of proposal, like I said, like nothing. What are you supposed to do for your business? You're supposed to implement that throughout your business. So that's how that's supposed to work. If you have questions about certain things, like, if you came across limitations on subcontracting and you didn't know what that meant, you can put that into Google and it will pull up. Cornell EDU will pull up on the first page. The acquisition.gov website will pull up. The electronic code of federal regulations, ECFR, will pull up. Let me go ahead and show you that ECFR, electronic code of federal regulations. And so if you're ever wanting like more stuff, you go to ECFR. So this is This is federal regulations, period. This is not government contracting. This is federal regulations, period. But we want government contracting. So we come down to actually Title 48, which is the Federal Acquisition Regulation System. And then this will bring up every FAR clause, FAR or DFAR known to man. Primarily what you're going to be looking at is probably these first two sections. But literally you just keep clicking and clicking until you find until you're basically identifying the number, the FAR clause that you're wanting. That can be a bit tedious, but it is the rightest way to go about FAR clauses. It's what a contracting officer would tell you that they do. But layman's terms, I recommend that you take the FAR clause that you're interested in, plug it into Google, and then it's going to bring up the page automatically for you in the search results. Like I said, it may be from Cornell, it may be from acquisition.gov, it may be from ECFR, but it'll actually take you to the page so that you don't have to click. It'll just take you to the end search result. And then you can read more about it and see how it applies to your business and what it means. That's what you need to do. Long-winded answer, like most of my answers are. Hopefully that helps. Latasha's says, okay, awesome. I'll look forward. If I sign up now, will I have access to the new information that is coming, or is it an upgrade? I don't mind paying. I'm just trying to see what to expect. So if you're talking about the new proposal builder docs, Latasha, yes, GovCon Gold Rush members, they're grandfathered into all of the programs that we have. So they get access, in addition to everything else, they get access to the capability statements. They get access to sam.gov accelerator program, and they also get access to the proposal. They actually already have it. So I've already given them access to that proposal builder docs. I just haven't made it accessible on the website. That's going to be like an a la carte type thing. But yeah, the money invested in all of that, like you kind of almost gain that back because it's part of Gold Rush if you join Gold Rush. So yes. Yvonne says, helps a lot, helps a ton. Thank you. Awesome. Good. I'm glad that helped answer the question. Okay. So we talked, so the road salt video, guys, if you're new, if you're just joining, welcome. We're going for a couple hours this morning, celebrating 10K subscribers. We went a little bit deep earlier. If you want to check that out, catch the earlier portion of the video. We're kind of just taking things as they go, fielding questions. If you do have questions, feel free to put those in the chat. We can now start to open those up. So if you do have a question you want to ask, feel free. The road salt video, with 75,000 views, but we've also had other videos that have massively contributed to the channel here. And basically all these blue videos have done really well. They were all kind of made around the same time. New to government contracting, this is where I recommend, kind of doing professional services if you're new starting out, staffing, things like that. Some of the videos that I really liked making are these, what I call these Sarah videos. Let me turn down my volume here. So like the 4 stages, maybe this has helped you guys, like the 4 stages of a government contracting bid, where we talk about, source of sought, pre-solicitation, solicitation, and award. Kind of making this cartoonish, graphic type thing was new for me. But it was like a new creative outlet that I was able to do. And, we've got the contracting officer over here. Then we've got Sarah, the contractor, the business owner. And so these videos have also done, really well, really great things for the channel. 17,000 views for this one. And then we also took things over to Beta Sam at the time. And then I actually showed you, of course, I'm going to get hit with ads on my own videos. Then I was actually able to show you, and hotels.com, right? Show you how to do these things and how these 4 stages of a bid applied in beta.sam, which was pretty cool because we had a bit of a cartoonish, different context for things. but then I could show you how to put it into play in real life. So that was something that was pretty cool. And then the other one was the government contracting middleman strategy, which has honestly created more questions than answers, I feel, unfortunately. But this is really where I first talked about like the proper way to middleman. Again, I gave the Sarah example of kind of like the subcontractor saying, well, I can do all of that. And then it's like, where is it? No, pass-through schemes are illegal. And I had somebody comment recently on a video saying, Derek, you're being overly like restrictive because, you're calling this a scheme and it's not a scheme. Like it's totally doable. Well, like, no, like it is a scheme. Like it's illegal. Go check out if you want to know more about like legal type stuff, the federal acquisition regulations that apply to the legal type stuff, go to sam.gov.com. Check out Stephen Koprince. He is one of the most respected lawyers in the industry, as far as I know. And he has a number of great articles that talk about this. I didn't make it up. Okay. In this video, I actually read his article and I give him the credit here. About people have gone to jail. They have to pay restitution. They get their, they're no longer to do government contracting. Okay. Like you can see it here, limitations on subcontracting. I'm not making this stuff up. So for whoever said that comment that I'm being over restrictive and that this whole subbing everything out thing is fine, don't take it from me, then take it to a lawyer who's talking about the people that are serving 5 to 10 years in jail. Okay. So that's why I say that stuff. And I'm not going on that soapbox really. I don't think anymore ever again, because I'm so sick of it. But here's another one: small business fraud, guilty plea in major SBA pass-through case. This isn't a name that this pass-through is not something that I came up with. It's a real thing. If you don't believe me, go to small.govcon.com. You can figure out, don't take it from me, take it from a lawyer on how to do things the right way. If you don't understand it in my videos or something, but I'm citing the law here. So I don't know what else I can do. So, that was kind of an interesting video. What else do we have here? This CAPE statement video was pretty earth shattering. I'm probably going to stop doing this. I'm getting hit with too many ads. When we first came out with our CAPE statements, our versus, like our versus video on average versus amazing. This really kind of got a tool into your guys' hands, and things have evolved since then, onto what is possible for your business and how things don't have to be so like 30 years ago. There can be a new fresh take on doing things the right way, but there can be a new fresh take on something like capability statements. And so, that video was pretty awesome as well. I'm super, I'm very much liking the interview videos. That was a bit of a passion thing for me as well. Being able to share, like Florentina's, if you watched it, her success story, or Jeff's success story. The interview videos have definitely helped to grow the channel, but I think it's gone deep more than it's gone wide, because a lot of people got to hear from other members here in the community and on the platform that have won a contract, that are being successful, that have benefited from, even some of my resources and tools in some cases. So the interview videos, were also pretty awesome as well. And I would like to do more, probably maybe do some more at the top of the year. We'll see. I recently sent out an email to the email list. And so we'll kind of see what ends up happening with that. I feel like this year is just going to end like so quickly now. It's going to be September soon. So we'll see how those things go. Yeah. So guys, if you do have questions, if you do have anything, let me know. I've kind of shared the personal stuff that I wanted to say thank you and to reassure what our mission and what our intent here is on the channel. We can definitely carve out a bit of time now. If you do have questions you want to put in the chat, I can answer those. If not, that's totally cool. But yeah, I don't have much more to say, which is usually a first for me. So again, if you missed it, I'm giving a big shout out to one of our Gold Rush members. I got this box yesterday, Georgetown cupcakes. Cupcakes are amazing, by the way. Some of the best cupcakes I've ever had in my life. I believe they're in Virginia. This is from a Gold Rush member who recently won a contract. Just wanted to say thank you for me, helping him out with some things. Sent a really nice card. So that's why we've got that there, in the background today. And I thought I'd bring it on for the celebration since it just happened, it happened yesterday. So that was pretty cool and pretty meaningful as well. So yeah. Let me know, guys, if I'm always super curious to know like where you all are at, because I know we've got folks, like we had Yvonne earlier, like she's in a position where she's looking to, learn this and do this for her company. We have other people that have a business and they're considering doing this for their business, but they're at the very beginning stages. They're not registered yet. And I always try to get like a good feel, always doing polls and questionnaires and things like that to see what is the audience mix, what is the percentages. And I'm never able to get a truly accurate number, but that's something I'm always super curious to know about. Dylan says, I've been binge watching your videos lately. 10K subs is well deserved. Congratulations. Hey, thank you so much, Dylan. I appreciate that, man. And welcome to the community. Hope you're finding value in the videos. Latasha says, do I need a website? You don't need a website, but it is 2021. So I recommend that it's probably not the first thing you do, but probably within a year's time, I would get that set up. Again, should be a business first, GovCon second. And if you're going to be a business first, you probably want a business website. Dylan says, I just got my CA seller's permit, trying to get the basics started to bid on contracts. How do taxes work with fulfilling a contract? Are sales tax charged for products? Yeah, Dylan. So that's a good question. It's a question that we get asked a lot. And we're talking about state sales tax specifically here. It's, the government does not pay for tax. So that's one of the governing rules that the government will tell you. The government does not pay for tax. The government does have the power to, there is a state sales tax exemption form that typically every state has. So wherever you would be paying the taxes, wherever taxes would be owed, you have to check out that state and see if you can get that state sales tax exemption form. Oftentimes, I've told people to just ask the contracting officer, if you're bidding on like four-wheelers or something like that, a bit of a larger, laptops, larger procurement in a quantity where sales tax would make a pretty big difference. It could, be your entire margin of profit. So you want to make sure that you're clear on that. I would email the contracting officer and kind of ask. And I've done a lot of digging and research into this. And the answer is there is not necessarily one right answer, because the way every state treats it is a bit different, which is why I recommend that you take it on almost a case-by-case basis and see what the contracting office is going to allow you to do and approach it that way, because there's sometimes they allow it and there's other times that they don't. And I don't know how they do that. You have to build it into your price. But it's just the truth. Like, it's just the way that it is. So I've read through a number of articles from people that are in the industry that have worked on like state legislations when it comes to state sales tax on government contracts. And even in their articles, they're kind of saying it depends. So unfortunately, I don't have a clear black and white answer because they don't, which all means the best answer I can give to you is, as they cite that state sales exemption form, if you can get that and that applies, then you can use that. If not, then you're probably going to have to build it into your price, which government doesn't pay for tax, and then they would be paying for it. So as you can see, it doesn't make sense. But that's what like ends up happening. So, that's the best I've got for you on that one, Dylan. It's a very good question, and I do recommend trying to do some research and checking out what things look like in your state. Things may be a bit more clear. Latasha says, I'm completely new and I want to offer a service and or products. So business first, GovCon second. So I would ask, what business can you build a service or, supplies, products off of? Start there because you got to know how to price when you get into GovCon, and eventually you're going to need to have some experience and past performance. You don't need it right to get started, but eventually you're going to want that to go after more things. So, again, it's like you have to answer that question for yourself. GovCon is not going to solve that for you. You have to have that figured out ahead of time. So what I recommend for that is taking what's called personal inventory. What have you done personally that you can then bring to a business first? Do you have a certain set of skills? If not, most people do, but if not, check out your LinkedIn, friends or whatever, your Facebook friends, your Rolodex, your address book. Who do you know who is a small business owner who is doing something that maybe you could shadow and learn from and acquire that set of skills and then apply that to starting your own business? I very much recommend you checking out the video I did a couple weeks ago on what I would do if I was starting this all over from scratch. It's basically aligned from the perspective of somebody who's starting this with nothing. So I think that would probably give you a lot of really good insights. I recommend you check out that video. It's probably going to be more than I can talk and explain. Yeah. So Yvonne says, I'm a proposal manager. All right. We go after coastal surveys. So NOAA, BOEM, USACE. So it sounds like your company is active already. I've done one government contract, SF 330 and 1, but I want to get more familiar with the process. So this is super helpful. Yeah. And what I think you're going to find, and you'll probably appreciate if you're a proposal manager, is agencies do things differently. So like I'm talking about like literally how things will look, since we're talking about the proposal process, the solicitation process, the acquisition process as a entirety. It varies from agency to agency. The more you get out there and you're just putting in the reps, you're going to see that and you're going to learn that and experience it for yourself. And it's also going to build your confidence to know that, hey, this looks different, but at the same time, they're going after the same thing. So it won't like throw you off, so the difference between, for example, NOAA and USACE is like huge. Two very different agencies, but they also buy a lot of the same things, and you're talking about coastal surveys. Like, yeah, you're definitely going to see that more prominently at certain type of agencies than others because it just makes sense. Each agency has its own mission as it fits into the federal organization, as a whole. And so you'll find agencies that are buying the same things, but they're procuring it the way the proposal process looks, the forms they use, things they ask for, even sometimes will be different, or if nothing else, will appear different, and it still may be the same thing, but it'll look differently. So putting in the reps, getting exposed to those different things is what's needed. And unfortunately, it can slow down the learning process because you can feel like you're learning something new every time. Sometimes going from bid to bid to bid, because every bid itself is different, even within the same agency, every bid is different. So this is why it's so difficult and slow for many people going through this process, because you're not seeing the same things all the time again and again, and then you're building off of it. It can be like, this is new, and then this is all new, and then you're from scratch, this is all new. And it's like, where do you start to get common ground? You get it over time, but double that up with like learning another language, which is, the government contracting language. It just takes folks a really, really long time. And that's why, I've been trying to crack that nut for more than 2 years with resources and courses and free videos and things like that. And even that has been a challenge because there's so much to learn. Again, we fast track a lot of that with Gold Rush, but building out the community aspect, I think, is going to be super helpful. And that's what I'm looking to turn to next to help bridge this gap that seems like the Grand Canyon to most people. Let's build a bridge across that so that, hey, even if you have questions, you're not going to have as many, or the questions you're having are not questions that stop you in your tracks. They're just maybe more things that you need a clarification on, but fundamentally you understand the process from agency to agency or just from bid to bid. If we can at least get those bridges in place, which we're continuing to build, then I think we're going to see a lot more transformations made, a lot more contracts won, or at very least, a lot of people continuing to make more steps forward to, wherever it is they're trying to go, or from wherever it is they're starting out at. So, kind of great example. And I'm glad to hear that it's super helpful to you. I know there's not a lot of resources. A lot of you guys may be here, maybe watching. Obviously you're here because you found me, but you were probably seeking something initially. And you may have found there's not a lot of great resources out there, which is why I'm committed to making ours the best. I'm a super competitive person. Like I said, I want the community to be something that people talk about, which is why I'm investing in doing this thing that I keep talking about in today's live. It's like, I want it to be something that others are envious of, something that people want to be a part of, something that if you're not part of, you're missing out. And that's just my shameless, competitive side. Like, I want it to be that good. And that's, it's not going to just be here on YouTube. It's going to be on like a website platform type thing, off of and away from Facebook and all that type of stuff. But that's aggressively what I want to go after, because we got new people coming in every day, and they're coming in with the same questions. And if this can all just be laid out and they can just keep walking every day, taking these steps instead of getting stuck, then, what awesome things could happen. At the end of the day, the government needs small businesses to perform a number of these contracts. They're set aside for small business or sub-small business set asides like woman-owned, HubZone, 8A, you name it, veteran-owned small business, Indian-owned, things like that. They need small businesses. So if you are somebody who can provide a good or service that the government needs, but you're not able to get to them because of all of this crap in the middle, message sent is not message received. There's a gap because it's the Grand Canyon. That's what we need to fix, because you're the expert. You have the thing that somebody else needs, and you cannot get it to them because you do not know how to properly jump through the hoops. That's a big problem, because you got people on this other side of the fence too that are saying we need it, but you've got to, do your responses. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to write this. And then the person over here is like, well, I'm not an expert in contracting. I'm an expert in doing my business stuff. I'm the expert in the thing you want me to be the expert in, because you want me to be really good at doing this service if I award the contract, right? But then I also have to be an expert at this contracting type stuff too, so I can even get in front of you. Well, unfortunately, what ends up happening is a lot of the same companies end up winning the same contracts because they just get better and better at it. And then it's a slow influx of new blood coming into the ecosystem. It really is still a very small game on the inside once you get inside it, especially within respective industries. Like, I want to open up the floodgates on that. I want more, to the tune of the floodgates for good businesses that know what they're doing, that have something to offer to the government, because the government wants that too, because they want to increase competition. Because what happens with increased competition, they end up getting a better and better service or good or value, oftentimes for a better price. They have to be good stewards of taxpayers' dollars. And if there's only one or two companies that are able to do it, that understand the process, they're going to be charging a lot more profit and, whatever, good for them. But from the other standpoint, it's not a good use of taxpayers' dollars. And contracting's goal is supposed to be increased competition all the time, even amongst small businesses. So like, everybody will be happy with this, with bridging this gap here. And I'm talking about huge stuff. Like, I'm not being naive. I know what I'm talking about is probably more effect and change than I as one person can have. But even as an industry as a whole, maybe more people stepping forward, sharing their knowledge, my competitors or whatever, supporting the same mission, though, getting more small businesses that have something really good to offer to our government is the end goal, so that it's not the same companies that, maybe are taking it for granted, right? That's what we're talking about. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to call it. My voice is getting a little bit raw here. It's been awesome celebrating with you. Again, a big thank you to all of you subscribers. I don't even like the word. It's like, I've always been community focused. That's what I want. And I want to be closer to you guys. So looking forward to the coming weeks, months, and years, as we continue to build out new things, bring more solutions to you to make government contracting possible for you and your business. That's what we're all about. And celebrating and helping each other, along the way is, I think, probably the most enjoyable way to go through the process. And it's what I'm committed to. And I'm honored to be able to, even reach a few of you and make a small change, or, like, have some level of impact. That's what I'm here for. Really quick. Traveling Jones says, I won my first contract, but how do I manage it? You tell me. I don't know what type of contract it is. Again, that's why it's got to be business first, government contracting second, because this should be something you already know how to do, right? Not something that you're doing for the very first time on the government's dime. And then it's like, well, how do you manage anything? You make sure you meet the deliverables of the statement of work, of the contract you perform. You do stuff on time in accordance with what is required. You ask questions, you communicate. If you got people on this, you make sure you're touching base with them on a regular basis. If there's products involved, you're doing quality control. Those are all things that are involved in managing the contract. If you're working with subcontractors, you got to make sure you're managing the subcontractors. Traveling Jones, I don't see anything about post-award contract management. Again, you tell me. That's a very, very vague question, and one, honestly, you should probably already know how to do. It's because it almost sounds like you want a job to do something and you're asking now, how do you do it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is something that happens when you win a contract before you're a business first. And then, unfortunately, okay, accounting compliance for Gov. If you don't know how to do accounting compliance, I don't know how you won the contract. Hopefully you know how to do it. How do you manage it? Are you doing it yourself? Do you have employees that are doing accounting compliance? Are you working with a company? Are you doing a joint venture? I mean, I just don't have any information at all to work with to tell you how to manage this. And quite frankly, I probably shouldn't have to tell you how to manage it. To be fair, you should probably know how to do this. So I'll give a few seconds to see if you're gonna tell me anything more about the contract, and I can try to help. But again, managing is making sure you're doing a good job. It's making sure you're doing things right and you're doing things the way that the government wants you to. It means you're hitting deadlines. It means you're making sure any parties involved, whether it's you, staffed employees, or partners, joint ventures, subcontractors, make sure they're all doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. That's what it means to manage. So you got to make sure you're doing all of those things. I don't know if it's remote. I don't know if it's in your backyard. I don't know what the deliverables are. Need to find a CPA. Yeah. So, I mean, sounds like maybe you're going to pass this through. I don't know. It sounds like maybe you won the contract, but you don't actually do these services yourself, which, you know what we say about pass-through, guys. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people, a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of people are going out telling people to go out and go after these contracts, and they don't even have to be involved. The contractor is requiring things that were not in the original solicitation concerning inspections. Yeah, I mean, if you're saying there's something that's out of scope, like they're asking you to do something, then you need to tell them this is out of scope, and they need to do a request for equitable adjustment in REA. They're having you do something that you did not price for. They need to put more money on the contract. Excuse me, my voice is starting to go. So now the contract officer gave me the award, but it's the net amount. So there is a gross amount. The contractor is requiring, well, you're the contractor. So contracting is requiring things that we're not in. So yeah, going back to what I said, if they're having you do stuff that's out of scope, guys, anybody listening, watching on replay, if you win a contract and the contracting officer wants you to do something that you did not price for, you need to let them know that that is out of scope. That is the terminology. This is out of scope of the contract. They can do what's called a request for equitable adjustment. This is not something that comes easy. It is something you're going to have to prove. But if what you're saying is true, then you should be able to prove it. And then they will put additional monies on the contract to make up for this, because apparently they missed something, according to what you're saying. And this does happen, guys. This does happen. And you have to protect yourself, and you have to be able to stand your ground and make sure you don't lose your butt on the contract if they're having you do something that's out of scope. So, yeah. So hopefully that helps, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. We went a little bit more personal, and then we talked about some of our videos. We talked about the overall mission and intent, where we're wanting to head for the future. We talked about Georgetown Cupcakes. I'm going to call it here, probably. So if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Subscribe to the channel, like the video. And it's been a lot of fun, but it's like, I can't wait to build an even more tight-knit community with you guys. Armando says, will the Gov sue you? Gov's probably not going to sue you, but they can, if you have a bond, they can pull your bond. They can basically, for not completing the contract, they can terminate you for cause, which makes you never able to do this government business again in the future. At certain times they can come after you for money, I suppose, but I don't hear so much about that. But yeah, I don't think they're going to really sue you. Yvonne says, thanks again. Hey, Yvonne, you got it. It's been awesome chatting with you this morning. Looking forward to seeing you on future live streams, or maybe in the program, or maybe in an email or something like that. So take care, guys. Have a great weekend, and cheers to the future. Take care.